Alrighty people, so I'm not going to say much for this segment since this is basically Victory Road. It's my least favorite Victory Road of all the Victory Roads, and it's not helped by this guy right here. Well, he shows up at the beginning or at the end, but regardless, he is not the best way to start off my day. Anyway, leads with Altaria can be a bit of a butt if you let it DD up. Luckily, Selena is awesome enough, as you can see. Damn it. I apologize for being, like, reacting slowly to this. I should probably be in bed right now, honestly. Anyway, Altaria is down, full restores are evil and whatnot. Delcatty can go to hell. Sing is very annoying, especially when it gets insane luck like that. Assist is... I don't have time to go rant about May and her skitty, but Assist is stupid. So is this thing gonna die? Is it gonna die? Is it gonna die? Yeah, it's gonna die. Good. Magneton probably would be useful if I had Brick Break right now, but I want to keep Aerial Ace and Amnesia for other reasons, and Shadow Ball, and definitely Return, so... I still haven't decided about that. I might even like teach the TM midway through the Elite Four or something. I don't know. Well, I should have this planned out, but I am making this up as I go along. Yeah, people just come on. Leech Seed, oh bugger. Now this makes Toxic. That's even worse. Come here. Let's just like 3 swift kicks to the balls right after another, and just. Alright, good. And now I gotta heal and disrupt my vibe. He still got his Gardevoir left in this. Probably the biggest pain, I'll bet. Okay, I've got that miss. This could be a very large pain in the butt. Alright. How then? Is it gonna be like... It's probably gonna like crit with Psychic or something. I don't know. Double. I don't have to talk about it. Okay, 1 AKO, I'll accept that. Ugh. And there's still the entire rest of Victory Road to go. Holy Christ. Yeah, this will be a music segment. Sorry, people. You're just gonna have to live with that, because god damn, I hate this, and I would just resort to incoherent babbling.
Hey folks, Datai from the future here, once again speaking over a segment that my past self did not wish to commentate. This is the Victory Road of Hoenn. Victory Road being the classic final cave before you run into the Elite Four, and essentially the final bosses of the game. The thing about Victory Road is that it's a cave, and what's more, is a cave in which you need to use almost every single HM that you have. I believe Flash is technically optional because it's Flash, and there's no cut, but you have to use Strength, you have to use Surf, you have to use Waterfall, you have to use Rock Smash. No diving, though. But that means that you will probably have to bring at least 1 HM minion, possibly 2, depending on your team composition. And that's really annoying. As the years have gone on, I've just gotten less and less patient with using HMs. Like, I understand they were originally introduced as roadblocks, essentially. They were to make sure that you didn't go to areas out of order. And that was kind of necessary in the earlier games, because the earlier games were not as narratively based. They didn't have events, cutscenes, things that could dictate to you where you had to go. So instead, they gave you tools to bypass roadblocks once they had you accomplish the thing that they wanted you to accomplish. And it was done by talking to people or finding the item rather than through a cutscene. But now, even by 2nd generation, much less by 3rd generation, cutscenes were much more rampant, and narratives were a lot more linear and stronger in these games, which means that the whole HM blockage thing was a lot less necessary. You could just have someone standing in the way and say, hey, yo, don't go here until you deal with this plot event. And occasionally they did that. Especially memorable is a couple times actually, in Black and White 2, when there are just some dudes standing in the middle of a roadblock, like, or in a house, and he's like, we're here, and someday we will not be here. Don't ask questions. And I mean, that was really tacky, but that's what they existed for. Now, the other thing that you can use HMs for is in navigating an environment in an interesting way, or creating puzzles, and that's kind of what they do with strength puzzles in here. There are a couple strength puzzles in Victory Road, and they're better here than they are in later games. Later games have awful strength puzzles. Generation 5, I believe, is when they made the shift. No, was it Generation 4, maybe? When boulders became gigantic, and rather than, like, pushing them around relatively quickly into the right arrangement so you could get through, they essentially became things you pushed into holes. And that's so much less interesting. The remakes, Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, actually managed to find a nice balance. They kept the gigantic boulders, but also kept the puzzles from the original, which is great. And strength, honestly, that's something that you might have on your battle team if it's in-game, because strength is a decent move. You could give it a better incentive for people to use it by giving it a secondary effect, but it's still an 80 base power normal type move, which is useful for a lot of situations. But here in Generation 3, the distinction between Waterfall, Dive, and Surf, not so much. Because Surf is unambiguously the only one worth having on your battle team, because this is Generation 3, in which all water-type moves are special, which means Waterfall is not a physical move, it is a special move, and it's weaker than Surf, and there is no reason to use it instead of Surf. Dive is a strong move-ish, but it takes 2 turns to pull off, which means that you are inflicting more damage per turn if you use Surf. So there's no reason to have Dive on your battle team either. That's what makes all this so annoying, is that there are these moves that are useful for navigation, because the game is mandated that they be useful, but are not useful in battle. Now, I have this design philosophy that I toss around in my head, and I usually apply it to Metroidvania type games, but that any upgrade that you get, any item, upgrade, new ability, should have both a navigational and a combat purpose. And I think that some Metroid games do this great. They give you new beams, and you can open new doors, but you can also exploit elemental weaknesses in your enemies. Or they'll give you the double jump in, like, Metroid Prime, and that helps you both get around areas and lets you dodge people when they're shooting you in a much better way. Here in Pokemon, you would have HMs be both useful in battle and in navigation. Surf is a great example of this because it's a really strong move, and it's useful in navigating the world, especially Hoenn, because there's so much ocean. And if you don't have a water-type Pokemon on your team, well, you're probably doing some gimmick run like I am. But other moves of the same type that are just inherently weaker, no good. Not good. Not. Now, you might think, oh, in Omega Ruby and Alpha Sapphire, maybe this is better because Waterfall is physical and Surf is special. Yeah, that's great and all, but you're probably not going to have 2 separate water types, one physical and one special. So you're still going to have to cram those 2 moves onto the same Pokemon and have it as a mixed attacker, which can work, but then you're doubling up on type, and it's not really exploiting type advantages as well as it could. That's my rant about HMs. I don't hate this Victory Road. It just uses way too many HMs for my taste, and I kind of hate them now.
Okay, that's everything, God.